Welcome to the stream. Oh, wow, damn. All seem to be quite quiet for some reason. How about this? Oh, well, this is what we got. Great. But, nope. And into this, I'm just doing a random landscape kind of thing. So, do that. Good. That we want to just put right. There we go. Everything's set up now. All right. Sorted. Now, change my setup slightly. So I want this brush. And I want not black, not going to try and use black. I was thinking like doing a cave of some kind, to be honest. Now, I don't really want this here, because I want the focal point to be the tree that I'm drawing here. So let's try and get in some... I might add some equal people in here just to signify how big this place is. Job my thing. Oh well. A little thing for this. Bit of a smudge maybe. And all my drawing style is guessing. Because I didn't bother with any reference today for this. It's not always good to use a smudge tool, but get rid of some of these blank spaces. It's not too bad. Give me that blue back. Pass it down. Bigger brush. I'm still on smudge. Work small. I'm going to try and bring this down. Hello, Firewall. I'm good. You? As you can see, I'm just faffing about trying to figure out if I can actually do some background drawing. It's fine. Is how it looks. How is Firewall? Just wrong colour. So everything is meant to be rock facings, obviously, except the tree. So I want quite for brown, dirty brown-ish colour. But walls, I don't even know where would be that kind of rock colour. Switching iron, who knows? Shading is definitely the killer when it comes to these types of things. My favorite thing to do generally is just guess. Yeah. Or try some random things. Just trying to get that thing that makes you go, yeah, that looks good. That's all you need. Ooh, that does not look good though. My trusty smudging brush. Yep, and that's where trial and error comes in, trying to find that one thing that you go, do you know what, that's a really nice method, I like that, I want to use it more, and it's just like your de facto one. Nah. I kind would I say I kind of have, I suppose I have the general one I do, so things like this piece where I'm doing like a landscape, I generally try and use colors a lot more. Whereas if I'm doing my characters, I would have actually just made a, because obviously I do all mine mostly digitally, made a multiplier layer and then applied a transparency mask to it. Mainly because then I could just go in and just add the shadows where I need to technically. This is generally one. That's generally the main method I use for most of the things I do. But because you can just go in and, because you generally get a better color as well when I do it that way, which is generally why I like doing it that way. But not for this. This I'm going freehand. I want a bit more yellow. Oh, 100%. In fact, to be fair, the thing I find myself doing more is because I really don't want to mess up something that looks really good. I don't even try, which I'm still not sure which is worse. Not trying to at least shade it or shading it and it going horribly wrong. Yeah, it's one of those. It's like if you're that against shading it, clearly the piece was not meant to be shaded. Or, in the opposite hand, you could say that because you refuse to shade it, you are then losing the opportunity to at least attempt shading it. I really don't know how to do leaves. Zoom out. That's ever in doubt. Zoom out. I need something a bit darker, a bit more blue, because obviously the water. This, you know what? I'm going to use this brush. Nope, that is definitely not the colour. That's better. Stick that over this side. That is true. Now, one might say one could photocopy it, but that would technically be cheating. It is a vicious cycle. I've ruined many drawings by either trying to colour them in or shade them myself. Probably why digital's quite inviting, because it's like, oh no, I've made a mistake. That's fine, just go back. You'll be alright. Still not got it. Am I going too bright with it? I want to bring it back down. So I use quite a lot of neutralish tones currently, so maybe I want to bring it right down. think that's actually getting there now. It's getting somewhat. Alright, it was the colour that were holding me back. And then just a hint more of a push. A bit of a pass here. Oh, yes. Hello, kitty. Back a little cat. I can't see. Ugh. To be perfectly honest, even though I do use digital a lot, I do actually still prefer to use pencil and paper for the most part. Don't know, I just get a different feeling from when, instead of using one of these in a tablet thing. It's just that I feel like I can control it better with a pen and paper rather than this. So, it's odd to say. Use the cat as a headrest. You're right there, missus. And tree underneath. The dropper. Bit less. This is one of the good things though about doing digital, is the ability to just zoom out. Because sometimes being too close just hinders you ever so slightly. And this lighting does not make any sense, by the way. Just saying. Mm-hmm. That's not that one, is it? I got the wrong way. I'm not taking over from digital art, but if you can't draw with pen and paper, why do you expect that to change just because you're using a digital program? You know, I agree, but I will also state that different mediums require very different techniques, whereas the basics are generally the same. Like, I can draw with a pen and paper, pencil and paper, pretty well. Colouring wise, not a chance. Generally can't colour at all. Yeah, I don't quite agree with that quote. I don't think that quote is accurate, because someone could be great with colours, but because it depends obviously on how you do your art, I suppose. Because there are people who just primarily work with colours in it, so. But it is definitely a somewhat true statement. That is true. That is true. We persevere, though. Though we know something that the 3-year-olds don't. We know that it's alright to draw outside the lines. I won't say it. They draw outside the lines. Scrap that. Yeah, it's... Kids have something that we generally don't have, generally at some point, that even the most creative people lose, and that is the lack of restriction. You just forget you got it. Yeah. Kids don't know any better. Kids are like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this like this. And then you go, so, oh no, you got to keep it inside the lines, inside the lines. It's like, why? Yeah. What has outside the line ever done to me that I can't colour there? I want do I want a different brush? No, I want a larger brush head. That's what I want. Using that magical Control Z. I'm going to get a nice big area coloured in here. I would show every single one of mine. Because I feel no shame in my attempts. It is not. They are obviously not drawings meant for other people to see, but I won't mind showing it. And I wouldn't say that it's a lack of shame and not knowing that their drawings suck. Because who are we to say that their drawings suck? Maybe that is exactly how they wanted to draw their drawing. Because technically it is. Whilst, yeah, they don't have the technical skills or the observational skills and every other skill going, the one skill they do have is imagination. And a lot of people don't even have that. So, who's to say? Yeah, this is looking a bit better. Need a brighter. Yes. Now it's. That's what I'm looking for. Right. Cave walls. I want you to take on a bit of a blue-grey hue, please. True. No, that's kind of what you're saying as well, but it's one of those, and it's like, who's to say what is and isn't bad art? So because they always say art is subjective, don't they? So, but no, I like the. I probably liked better when I was drawing, when it was just for the sake of. I enjoyed my doodling more, I would say, when I was younger. 'Cause doodling was great. 'Cause you just had no rhyme, no reason to it. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna doodle this. Yeah. I don't have many drawings from when I was younger anymore, so it's that's better. Yeah, I can get the shame bit a bit, but I think I might just be a bit shameless, as I'm generally not fussed about people seeing my rubbish drawings. I mean, I've done all my practice art on these streams and stuff where I've drawn absolute nonsense. So I think that it is the worst thing you can do to tell a kid that their drawing sucks. Yeah, if you want them to draw better, don't tell them that it sucks. Say, oh, that's great, and then just try and lead them into the direction to, hone the skill that they're enjoying doing. Yeah. Well, so otherwise they will go say, well, I can't bother with that anymore. Potentially. Indeed. Indeed. I can say that my own stuff does. Well, not every week. It's like these streams for me are my practice. I struggle without proper a reason and motivation to want to do my drawing, even though I like my drawing, unless I've got that inspiration to draw, I don't really want to do it unless I'm like inspired by something or something else has happened and I kind of just like, oh yeah, that'd be great, I'm going to try and draw that, and then I go and try and draw and fail at drawing something. But this is more like, okay, I've got some time before I go to bed. I'll stream this. I'll get that practice that I'm not willing to kind of put in during the other points, because I go in and out of focus with a lot of things, and I think that's fine. But yeah. But like I said, I just don't think I also have any shame. Yeah. Either that or I don't care about other people's opinions as much. Who knows? But yeah, like I said, I think the art stream just started out literally just for my motivation. Oh, that's good. And that's the thing, I think with motivation, it comes from many different sources. So obviously your motivation isn't going to reflect like what I'd probably do for motivation. Like I said, this is my motivation. This stream is my motivation for drawing. The amount of times I've went, it's like, oh, can I be bothered streaming? It's like, yeah, because I enjoy doing the streaming bit and stuff like that. I enjoy coming on here and just going, it's like, okay, I'm going to draw something. I mean, sometimes I'll even almost fall asleep whilst being on here. So, because I've not got any interest and I'm bored. So you'll see me in many states while I'm doing these. Right, I don't really know what I'm doing with this wall. But, yeah, Motivation is a finicky thing. I have said that I need to start drawing more in my sketchbook. And I haven't. I really need to. But today I did actually go, do you know what? I'm on the bus. I'm going to load up a picture on my phone. I've got my sketchbook on me. You know, I'll do a little doodle of something. And it wasn't even the best drawing. Quite literally, all I did was I was just like this. It's like, okay, so this is the picture. Guy's here. So he's just like, I was just like, okay, what shape does his trousers have here, and what angle? And this was all I was doing. I wasn't doing any. I was just trying to figure out the pose more than it was anything else. Yeah. Where does his hand sit and stuff like that? And that to me was, or generally is, the best practice that I do in terms of any practice. So, and I don't, mainly because I like to study more forms than I do actually copying 100%. But again, that is different motivations. Yeah, so generally people say it's good to practice your drawing every day, which it probably is. Yeah, because obviously you'll probably, if you don't draw for ages, you're probably going to lose some of that fine motor skills and precision that you might have had with something else. Yeah, or for me, I just generally forget how to draw. Yeah. I have, well, I technically still have. I've got like another channel that's got some of me speed art drawings, which, to be fair, I was meant to bring over to this channel, but I never did. Originally, I'm going to have two channels, one for my art and one for, just general gaming. But then I thought, it's like, why do I need to separate it again? And that's why we have this stream on this channel. But hey ho. Nope. 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 There we go. Yeah, I believe you said before regarding that, and I get that. Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm pretty much done with this thing now, anyway. Don't think there's much more I want to do with it. Yeah, I don't mind the foliage. I think it came out looking alright as well. I think it took some bloody attempting there. And the grass isn't too bad, but like I said, it's meant to be actually. Zoom in, it's probably quite blurry. But I think that's fine. Use some of this on this grass. In fact, you know what? I'm going to get this brush. Anywho, there we go. Yeah, that's fine. Let's save this. But what? Oh, it's down at the bottom. Let's scoot that over here. Syrian Art Night. Tree cave. Tree cave. No. Why not? There we go. Was my favorite thing to draw. And yeah, it's fine. You can send them over. I'll have a look at them anyway. Favorite thing to draw. Generally, I like drawing like characters, people mostly. Yeah, though oddly enough, I would say that generally I'll do the head and I'll do the torso and then I won't do underneath. So I generally like doing, I don't know what this kind of shot is, but sometimes I'll even do like a little, okay, got the thing here, and then I'll just turn it into, you know, like one of those statue busts. Essentially just make one of those instead. Sometimes. Other times I'll actually finish the drawing. But yeah, generally I like to draw characters, just random characters. So I've got a few of them on my DeviantArt. Yeah. Not too bad. I think that's fine. I think generally most of the time people will, the reason people draw is because of something that's interesting to them. Which is why I probably think as well, being a person who does art and being a person who does comics and mangas and stuff are two different things. So a person who draws manga, for instance, they need to know story as well and how to write, but they also need to know how to draw a lot of things. Whereas you'll see the people who are on Pinterest or Instagram and all these things where they'll do their artwork, but most of the time it's just 100 images of kind of the same-ish pose with a different-ish character, and that's the style they've gone for. Yeah. That's how they draw. Can they draw other things? Probably. Can they do it well? Who can say? Yeah. Specialization versus, yeah, utility, I suppose. It's the differences between our methods. I'm definitely specialization. I'd probably say I cannot draw creatures to save me life. But yes. I'll put any in here. I'll put a few of the pieces I did. It's fine. It's fine. What were we on about? It's like, I think, do I still have that? And that'd be a pain in the. Oh wait, no. I think I know what I can show you. Let me load up this. Oh, you don't go there. You go in here. Documents. Was it pictures? Scans? No. Where are you? Ooh, here we go. Here's a drawing I did at one point. This drawing is ancient. Alright, when did I scan this in? That'll give you a scope of when I actually drew this. This is from 2009. So, yeah. And I think I got Creature here as well from about a similar time. Don't ask me how its neck works. It just can't look backwards. The shell stops it from doing so. But yeah, so I think that these are some of the oldest scans I have of things that I've done in the past. And as you can see, my proportions are very off. And I've not drawn the hands. I refused. And I was very much into the anime thing, so obviously it's got that little tooth as well. I will say this scanned very nicely. Surprisingly. I think I went over it in pen. The boots are very square. But yeah, the creature is fine, but I wasn't going to ever draw it in a thingy. It's just how I drew things. Oh god, I've changed everything over, and now it's a pain. Where's that? It's there. But yeah, I don't know. I like showing me. Start back at home, and I'll see. Cool. What? Yeah, there we go. The finally popped up. Ooh. Ooh. That. I quite like this one, I'll be honest with you. And let's get rid of those pieces of nonsense and post this thing, because this thing is actually quite nice. I quite like this one. This one's great, I think. I'll be honest with you. I literally saw the thingy for it, and I'm just like, ooh, that actually looks cool. And is this the... This is the image that you copied it from as well, yeah? Copy image. There we go. Wow, that reference image went small, didn't it? Let's put it on nice and neatly. Not rotate it. I don't know how this works, clearly. Straight off the bat, I think this is great. So I can see that you've copied some of the shading that's done, which is definitely shown through. But obviously, certain areas would have went darker. But I think this was a bit thinner anyway. That bit, but and this bit here would probably benefited from trying to, similar to this, just have a couple of lines sticking out. Can I get a blue? Just to kind of break it away from being perfectly circular. But like I say, I am loving this. I think it went a bit too heavy. But yeah, I think I'm in nitpick territory here. Again, with the large areas, So with these spaces in between, I would have probably tried to get out all the white spaces. So I'd probably go over that like a dozen times in different directions just to kind of get that fully blocked in. Just so then you wouldn't have the white showing through. Just so then it kind of replicates how it is on here, where you got these proper dark bits. I mean, this bit you went quite dark in there, but again, probably could have went in again a bit more. I won't say heavy, but yeah, kind of heavy thingy. Now, the only thing would probably be the main body bit, where the bulk of like the cross hatching is. Probably would be room for improvement. Is definitely a good one. But like I said, just this bit, obviously, compared to the reference, yeah, it works for this piece, to be honest. Yeah, and I'd probably say I prefer it better than the cross-hatching, this kind of method. But again, I think the method can be improved. Because obviously these went for cross-hatching, and it's kind of like you've just went for a spot of shading in the middle of it, but which is fine. And obviously you've went and shaded in most of the middle of it. Increase that. Most of the middle of this bit, which is again fine. Just wondering if there is a another method. Let me have a look. How would I tackle this? Because it looks like he's used a lot of dots, essentially. So I'd probably try to just either do dots or circles. Yeah. And I wouldn't have even worried about making them look perfect. I would say that most of the shading is actually, and it could be the color of it, because obviously the blue stands out a lot better to me. And just yeah, obviously there's some slight differences, like in the length of these. Yeah, but this is a wee bit longer. But again, that's observation, and I don't think any image that is referenced is ever going to be 100%, because it's also a case of personal preference as well. Because it's like you may see something in someone's drawing, and like, that's not drawn right. That should be, yeah, a bit shorter or a bit longer or whatever it is. It's fine, but yeah, I think the shading definitely come a long way on this one. Quite like I said, all this kind of bit here is, I feel like could be improved. And to be fair, it being in blue gives it a nice lovely pop that the original one lacks. So yeah, so just all of this bit that I'm shading in now would probably benefit from a slightly more controlled shading. Like obviously this bit is dark anyway, once you've made it. Do all this? Probably not. I did a lot of dots. And lines. There we go. But yeah, overall, I really like it. Yeah. You've added some of your own flair to it. Like I said, those structures which are... Whew, I'll agree with you that. Yeah. Yeah, and that is generally how it happens. Like just trying to correct a mistake. What? But yeah. There's obviously places where you could probably have pushed it a little further, and others where you just need to pull it back a bit. But overall, great. On to the next. I do. Some is this wanting to paste, or is it just having a fit? There we go. Sure. Ooh. Let me just do that and then paste it. What? Do that, please. Right. Skinny mode, please. As for this one, the first thing I'm going to ask is, why does yours have something on its... So why does yours have something... is this colouring? But why does yours have something here and the other one doesn't? That's the only thing that currently is sticking out to me. And it just looks like it's got this like small little beady eye here. So, just curious more than anything. So, proportion-wise, so basically this perspective does not lean into... So is it just this perspective doesn't lean into seeing it, or you just thought, oh, I want to kind of show that a bit more, I suppose? But no, that's fine. Anatomy-wise, it's pretty much there. I'd say it's a bit short, a bit more squished together. Or at least it looks that way, because obviously this is quite high. Is this where this kind of just flows a bit more evenly, is probably the word I'd use. Again, if we go and just looking at the anatomy, this is bit too long. Nitpicking again, it's not really that much of an issue, I don't think. But the main thing again is it's all this shading under here generally, because it just looks like you've it's just dark, and obviously you've not added any of the definition is what I'll say, or some of the muscles and stuff that are under here. So just trying to push it. Yeah, because it's, I mean, it looks like you've done some underneath. And look at discard. Right, okay. So I feel like with these, so just going on to that, I feel like these are actually just across T. So they are probably perpendicular, which is probably why they look more like a dot in the actual image. But then again, it's like, can they move forward and backwards? Although if they did, I don't think they'd be able to move more than a certain circumference. I don't think they're going wild like this. But again, it's one of those where it's like one's own perspective on things. Looking at the general gist of it, it looks alright. Like I said, the shading around some of the muscles definitions, it's just trying to find the balance between that. Like I said, it's like if you're drawing something pretty decent, you kind of don't really want to mess it up. Well, needs must. I mean, you've got some good looking attempts going around here. Because you are just using pen, I would probably say you probably just want to actually leave some of this white just as the paper. You don't really want to colour it in. Some of it, just so then you can get those highlights in. So just so then you know. Yeah. Get be gone. Yeah, like I said, I can see that you've actually tried to do some under here. So I'm assuming that obviously you did thing and you just went, can all be dark. But again, if you are darkening it, because I know, because obviously I've done it with pen myself as well, but you can go darker. You just need to proper right in there to get those darker contours or the fuller marks, rather than have it stay as with the patchy whites. For the darker bits, that is. You definitely want to keep some of the patchy whites, as I call them, for the lighter bits. But generally, I'd probably want to keep trying to go over it. So that, because if you kind of clean up the darker parts, the overall thing looks a bit better. So just having the darkest parts of this fully coloured in and blocked in would probably make it look a lot better. And then just the patchy parts. Like I said, the ones on the first legs, it looks like you've done a good job. The only thing, like I said, was you probably overdone the shading, and I would probably have left a bit more of the them unshaded, and then just got my pen and kind of just focused in on one side, so it looks darkest on this side, so I might have just wanted to put more of my slashes on that side and just put the general line on that side there, so, and then just left a little patch. And like I said, just try and get that full colour block with your pen. Yeah, these are just the ramblings of a madman now. So on yours as well. Yeah, so obviously over here would be another point where I'd say you probably just want to get all that darkened up so that then you can get the contrast with this area over here, especially if you sit and do, if it's like I said, where you just had it kind of not as shaded in places. Not saying out everywhere, but because I'm not looking at the reference 100%. So, but yeah, overall it looks decent. And like I said, the front leg, you've got all the detail there. It's just that you've either pushed it too far in other places, or you've not pushed it enough in others. Like you pushed it too far over here at the bottom. That could have probably done with being a little less visible, and I would have said probably not dark enough at this part here. So because sometimes it's not the sometimes the lines you can draw hinder the image. So rather than in some parts drawing a line, you might just want to do a bunch of little strokes to kind of then go in the line. So it's like, okay, this is something's going on here, and then by the way, okay, now it's in that little line bit. So, like I said, sometimes the lines lie. But other than that, yeah. So with pen, it is true that you don't have some of the final controls with the pencil, and that's generally where people have come up with cross-hatching. Yeah, you could throw them up. We can have a look at this quickly. Probably. What time are we on now? Yeah, it's almost time to wrap up, but we'll have a quick look through them. We'll just quick 5-minute look at them. But generally with a pen, you're going to get maybe 1 or 2 different line strokes. But if you want to get it, so obviously, like I said, if you want to get it darker or the darkest, you can just drill it in and do short little lines to kind of fill it in. Pen and keystone, it takes ages, but yeah. And Discord is taking like an age to load. Are you loading? Nice. Yep, I agree with this. Never stop drawing. Look at that. But yeah, no wrong with that. It's progress, and no progress. This even if it takes forever, it's bad progress. And it's like, and it took ages for me to get to a point with mine as well, coming back to personal results, because that's all I've got to go on. Going back to my stuff is basically just a case of trial and error, and just slow and steady progression. It's like my drawing didn't. So basically, I did a bit of doodling, school. And then I did some more, obviously, when I went to college. So obviously, some of the stuff we were doing in college was drawing related. College for people Yeah, and then obviously went to university after that. Yeah, and then I did a bit more drawing. I did more tracing, and it's like I've never properly learned the methods for stick drawing and stuff. It's like they made me in a class at one point telling us to do shadow figures and stuff like that. But right, we're gonna do these reference lists. Yeah. But I'll come back to that because that's got a lot of stuff going on to it. Yeah, so this one, I'll ask you general things, and so so with this one, I'd say more definition. So I think this one could have been better. I do think it is the fact that the shading that they put on is quite heavy and blocky and doesn't provide detail or context to it. I'm assuming it's got some form of shell on it. A spine at the back. With again more shell-like things, but I am unsure if this is meant to be an eye or a hole as well. Because a hole is technically fine, but the hooves. I'll be honest, it's one of those drawings where you're just like, what am I actually looking at? I mean, this creature has a tail that resembles its head in order to confuse predators and whatnot. So it's one of those kind of things. So, does that mean the thing I've circled is the tail? And this is the actual head? Or is it vice versa? I'll be honest. I assume this would be the head because of this, because this just looks more like a hind leg, and this looks like a foreleg. Like I said, you can post the references if you can, and then I'll go back over after I've done a bit of a blind look at them. Circle is where the hearing organs are. That's a very strange creature. And this is, again, a case of imagination. And this one slightly reminds me of like a little field mouse of some kind. But apparently with a tail that looks pretty much like a blade. And how it is a air tunnel here, an eye, random fin, and then this just looks like its eyeballs poking out. Some of these references that you get, obviously you like these wild is probably what I'm gonna say. So, see now these images definitely put these guys into a bit more of a context. Alright. So, I already know with this one, the first one I looked at with these ones, where I would have put my shading. So basically, any of these purple bits that are on it. So if you're ever doing this one again, what I would have suggested is all this purple up top here. Yeah. There, and that's all around here. I would leave that as empty space. I would have those as my general highlights, so I'd have got rid of them. Because obviously you're not going to be able to show the purple, but you can at least show the fact that you have some colour here. Because he sent another one. Let me have a look at the other thing for this. Right, okay. So it is. So from this image, it looks like more like the outer shell of it is kind of doing this. Sounds like a plate here, and a plate here. Ooh, so these are creatures from Wayne Barlow's expedition. Creatures from Wayne Barlow's expedition for spectacular aliens that evolve differently. Fair enough. Darwin 4, the planet the creatures are indigenous to is inhabited by animals that use hearing and echolocation as the main source, which is why they barely have faces. Fair enough. To be fair, from this this image, it just looks like it could be a bit of a crab with its. These are its legs and pincers from this angle. Again, yeah, people's perspectives are completely different sometimes. But yeah, the these kind of whitish bits I'd have probably left as they are. I probably wouldn't have tried to shade any of that in. I mean, you've not done that on this bit, to be honest. Huh? Yeah, and just a bit too much shading on that leg as well. So I think it's just a case on this one. It's just a bit too generous with that shading. Any of the whiter bits I probably have kept a bit clearer with very little blocking out, and I'd probably just have stuck to more of the singular lines. Same here, it's just about identifying where the shadows are all coming from. So, because on yours it kind of looks more like this is kind of like an armor piece. It's not like it wouldn't be the same color. It doesn't look like it connects. And yeah, like you said, you love this artwork, and it's like it is some interesting looking art pieces that this guy's done. But and yeah, so with this one again, just shading with purpose and direction. Whilst cross-hatching is probably some of the easier, well, is interesting, sometimes it can lead to things, so I'd suggest also sticking with one direction. So for all these back spines, you could have literally just stuck to kind of just having them all one direction. This is obviously if you're not kind of doing a full block out of it. Yeah. And the last one, because I'm gonna be crashing out in a minute, he's a crazy guy. So, again, I will say that there has been some overshading. So with this image for the reference, yeah, not wrong with that. So with this image that you've got, it's got a lot of detail into it, which can be very hard to get. So this is one way you probably want, if you wanted to get this result on the paper that you were using, which I'm assuming you're using A4, I don't think you'd be able to get it, because the amount of detail on this, you'd need a bigger piece of paper, so then you could actually go in and get all of these finer details. So this is one way you'd need to pick and choose, unfortunately, what it is. You're going to choose. So for a rule of thumb, generally if the piece is in white, like this is mostly in white, yeah, you probably don't want much shading, so you probably just want to do like most of the main ones. Just so then you know that it's like, okay, I've got all that kind of covered. because I don't think with the, whilst possible, 100% possible to get results like this, I won't be able to do this. This is far too technical for my liking in general, to be honest. Whilst I like the looks of these and don't, I wouldn't want to be drawing them myself. That's the issue with me. So yeah, so with this I'd suggest just kind of sticking with like the bulk shadows and using those. And then maybe just using like a simple line every now and then just to kind of go, it's like, okay, so that's there. And then obviously if you have your outline anyway. But yeah, so with these darker parts here as well, yeah, when you've got all this detail, again, just general lines with purpose. Stress that, lines with purpose. Yeah. Up here you probably want to leave like this triangle bit mostly untouched. So you'd probably want, like I said, a bit of a triangle there. Just to leave untouched to some degree. You can get it light, a bit lighter with the blue pen, yeah. Oh, 100%. It's like, I feel like challenging yourself is probably the best thing to do, especially if it's a challenge you know that you may not succeed at or might not be like the best fit for you. But yeah, well, this orange stripe, by the way, because it is also bright, I would probably try to do it in lighter blue and then do most of the darker stuff with the rest of it. But anatomy wise, it looks alright. Again, so this thing that you did over this side here, get black again. So this little trail doesn't really exist because all it really is just the shadow. So obviously just similar to like what you did with the with this one, with like the bones, where you've just got the shading as kind of like just these lines in a certain spot. That's kind of what I'd say it probably just needs. Yeah. Just using obviously the reference that you've got for it. Just figure out where you want the things to be. And just go along. Sure. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot you could probably do with that. No. So what that is, it's not a vein. It's actually the underbone. So there is actually like a bone underneath this, making this bit protrude. That's how I see it. So it's kind of like similar to like this over this side. So it's just a lot. So this one's just a lot more subtler. It is like a bone. So it's like it's like a sharpish bone. Not as sharp as this one, but it's definitely a bone of some kind or something that's underneath the skin, just kind of giving it that little bit of thing. So you probably only really want to do something like that, and maybe just like a fine line connecting them with the shading, obviously, because it's and that's how I would generally see it. Yeah, but it won't, like I said, well, like we've been saying all night, everyone sees things differently and everyone wants to do things differently. So with that one, to be honest, with me, I'd tackle it like 7 different ways depending on the day. So you can do it many different ways. Obviously, I've got a reference saw I'm drawing on. It makes it slightly easier. So you can do it anywhere kind of you want. Like I said, the ribbon would. So this way that you've done it to me is would be where the shadow is. So, and then obviously, like I said, you'd put like the rest of most of this and the top of it into, you'd probably just leave most of that alone. Obviously this would be shaded to some degree, so that's in darkness, and then I've kept like the rest of this side clear, kind of like a box by the looks of it. Yeah, they generally say to use a box to figure out where should and shouldn't be shaded. So it's one of those, and it's like it doesn't work until it clicks. The slug creatures, yeah. Oh, I was actually going to mention those. I got stuck on something. So because these are quite metallic in things, you've done it the reverse way around. So you would have actually wanted to go darker on everything else and use again the white of the paper to become the highlights, rather than, because it looks more like you've used the dark as the highlights instead of the white or the color of the paper. So yeah, so for them they look pretty much spot on, the shape and everything. It's just like I said, I feel like you would have been better doing it the opposite way around for colouring them in or shading them. But the shape is there. You have missed one. Should be one here. But again, nitpicking. But no, I think you did. I think most of these are pretty good. Whilst this bit as well could have been, it was dark, I'd have probably kept the fins as well quite light as well. Yeah, well, I think that's what I was saying about the paper size. It's like sometimes it's a bit, yeah. What do I put in? What do I put in? What do I need to kind of do? Well, yeah. No. Overall, obviously, maybe try and put shadow in for some things. Very interesting creatures, though. Like I said, so the last ones that I did all looked alright as well. It's just that a little twig of figuring out how you're doing your shading that I think once you've kind of sussed it, your artwork's just going to shoot up in how it looks. So obviously just that, trying to find that balance between, okay, how heavy should I go, how light should I go, should this actually be shaded, shouldn't be shaded. It's one of those, once you figure out where you can, the push and pull of the shading, that I think's when you're going to get your balance. But from the other ones, some of it's improved, some of it's kind of, again, trial and error. Cat, you're right there. And yeah, like I said, this one is great. The again, the only issue again was a bit of the shading, but yeah, they're all great. They're all good. Yeah, I won't say any of them are bad. Yeah. I am one that says nothing is perfect also, so yeah, because if everything was perfect, how would you improve? Yeah, because I keep hearing whenever I watch other artists and stuff, all of them saying it's like, just art is one of those things that you are constantly practicing and improving, and learning with. And I think that's true. But 100%, you've definitely improved a lot. Yeah, and it's the shading is just one of those where even for me, I'm still not on 100% with shading. Yeah, I don't. There's days where I just can't shade and do anything at all. It's like so. It's hard. Yeah, and it's just a step at a time. Try and figure it out. Trying to understand the process that works for you. Yeah. And you never know. You might just at one point decide to go way outside the lines and just do something that just works. Yeah. But who knows? But anyway, I think that is it for now. I need to go. I'm getting tired now. And this cat's also getting a bit grumpy. But, oh well. Oh well, indeed. Right. I will speak to you later, Firewall. And probably see you next time I stream, I suppose. Or next time in someone else's stream. I'm sure. Yeah. Always. Yeah. Well, kind of always. Sometimes I think I just ramble. Anyway, see you later. Ciao. When I get to thingy. Cat, you're in the way. Go. Yes. Ciao.